1. I am a general renowned for my strategies. I've been in more wars than I can rightly recall offhand. I understand logistics and can plan maneuvers in my sleep. So why? Darius paused and looked between two different branches of hallway, despairing. Why didn't I realize that teaching my daughter the word up would lead to this? Piam, following at his heels, stifled a giggle. Darius turned to give him a half-hearted glare. Something amusing about this?
No, sir,
Piam managed with a remarkably straight face, although his lips kept twitching, spoiling the effort. He offered ingeniously.
At least we narrowed it down to who has her.
There is that, Darius acknowledged with a rueful smile. Ever since 3 weeks ago, when he had taught his daughter what up meant, she had latched onto the word with a fervor that dismayed her parents and bodyguard. Parisa, at barely 18 months, didn't have much of a working vocabulary, and she still struggled with her balance enough that walking presented its challenges, although her crawling speed made even adults trot to keep up with her. She'd learned people's names, nicknames for the ones that gave her trouble, and a few other words besides no, yes, please, that, and Bibi, her stuffed bunny. And then Darius had stupidly taught her up. He hadn't been able to find her since. Parisa loved up. Up meant that she could communicate that she wanted someone to pick her up and carry her off, which every single person in his household was willing to do, as Parisa possessed an astonishing beauty, along with an unhealthy dose of charm. No one hesitated over putting her on a hip and toting her about, and Parisa enjoyed both being held and mobile. It strangely felt like Darius played an elaborate game of hide-and-seek with his daughter. In order to give the game more of an edge, Parisa drafted whoever she could to be her legs, giving her a better chance to outmaneuver her sire and win the game. And she is definitely winning, he couldn't help but think. You go left, Darius dictated to Piam. I'll go right.
This time of day, Bomi is normally in the kitchen,
Piam informed him. Or napping on the back patio, Darius added, already moving toward the outside doors. So go check the kitchen, and I'll check the patio. Piam scurried off, sandals slapping at the tile floor. Darius shook his head, lamenting to himself that he really should have thought that word through. All he'd wanted was to teach his daughter how to reach her hands up to make it easier to lift her. The sleep deprivation of a parent could not be easily dismissed. It messed terribly with a man's judgment. Darius stepped outside onto the patio and hoped instantly that Bomi hadn't chosen to lounge out there. The day had already turned too warm for comfort. Even the shade of the covered patio, the trees gathering near the house, and the wind coming in from the west didn't take the edge off completely. Darius normally liked this spot in the evenings, where he could see his lands, as it had a good vantage point, and he could see both the vineyards, the farms, and a part of the highway from here. The angle of the house made it the best place to enjoy the sunset. But the mornings were unbearable on this side of the house. Taking 2 full steps out, he swept the area, but he didn't see either bodyguard or baby. Kitchen, then. Turning, he headed back down the hall, but paused at the intersection as he heard his wife's light footsteps hurrying his direction. I haven't found her yet, but we know Bomi has her, and Piam is checking the kitchen. He spoke as soon as she came into view.
Finding her to settle her for a nap is like waging war in this house,
Amala said in exasperation, dark eyes rolling toward the ceiling as if praying for patience.
But that's not why I'm searching for you.
In her hand she held a missive, rolled up with very tight cord and wax binding it shut, and Darius's eyes went wide as he took in the seal pressed into the wax. Wordlessly, he held out his hand, and quickly broke open the seal. Barris had written to him only once before, so if he were reaching out again, it couldn't be anything good. The first words of the letter confirmed that with chilling certainty. His eyes scanned through it quickly, head swimming with different thoughts and emotions. He felt hot and cold at once, a tingling in his chest that he belatedly realized was a surge of adrenaline. Oh, if this was true. If any part of this was true. 1.